Hello, I am Aisha.
And Paula, your cultural hybrid mental health therapist.
Here to explore unfiltered and heartfelt conversations on core issues
that affect us as human beings. Get ready for honest, captivating,
and real stories that take you on a journey to navigate your life
in the best possible way.
So grab a seat
and stay with us on this episode of
Do We Have Your Attention?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Do We Have Your Attention podcast, our space for honest, unfiltered conversations. My name is Paula. I am one of your co-hosts, and I love asking the questions most people avoid.
Hi, Paula. This is Aisha, the other co-host, and I love hosting this podcast with you.
Thank you.
And I also love that we get to reflect on feelings and get to know the why behind what we experience as human beings.
Absolutely. And I feel like we make such a great team.
Period.
If I do say so myself.
Period.
I feel as though we create spaces that are real. Mm-hmm. We allow for real, human, full of truth conversation. Mm-hmm. And I could not ask to do this with anyone else but you.
Oh, my sister. I feel the same way. But seriously, can you believe it? Like, we're now recording episode 15 for season 2. I can't believe it. I don't know. I'm like, wow, look at us.
That is wild to actually say. Episode 15 of season 2. But I am really, really proud of us, though.
I know, I'm proud of us, too. And I think it's been so beautiful seeing how we've grown just throughout the seasons. Like, season 1 felt different and season 2 felt different, but in a good way, like in a very good, healthy way.
And of course, like, it reminds me of the times when you and I were speaking about actually starting a podcast, but we hadn't really started. Mm-hmm. And I think I remember one conversation that we did have, specifically in South Philly. I don't know why, but I always remember the places. I always remember the places.
No,
and we were talking. And we're just like, I think we said something along the lines of, this is us going to be 3 years from now, and then we're going to have a podcast and blah, blah, blah. And to think that we're about to be 2 years into this podcast, it is very, very, it's surreal.
It's surreal. It's actually quite amazing. Like, I feel like now I'm more comfortable even telling people that I do this. Because before I used to be like, I can't believe I have a podcast. Like,
should I tell them I'm a podcaster?
But it's been great. It's really been great. Like you said earlier, and I feel the exact same way. I love doing this with you.
Absolutely. And today, we are going to be unpacking something everyone has felt at some point in their life. Those tricky emotions that show up when someone else wins, when you maybe feel left behind, or when you catch yourself comparing.
Yep, exactly. We're talking about healthy competition, envy, and jealousy.
Because let's be real. You see someone get a job, buy a house, or I guess maybe get into a relationship, or you see someone just seeming happier, healthier, they look good. They're glowing. And suddenly you're somewhere between admiring them, but also feeling a sense of resentment. And you're not really sure what exactly is going on.
Yeah, but just to like start off the conversation by letting everyone know that these emotions are human and we all experience them at some point. The point isn't to shame them, but to understand them. And that's why we're having this conversation today.
Absolutely. And of course, before we get started, we would like to do a feelings check-in. I know we've already been checking in.
Yeah.
But as you all know by now, if you're listening to season 2, episode 15, then you know already what we're about to do.
Period.
So
and if
Aisha,
you don't now, you know.
How are you feeling today?
Today, I'm actually feeling yellow. I have a lot of positive energy. I'm very optimistic. It's a bit gloomy outside because it's cold now. Aww. But yeah, I'm feeling excited to have this conversation. I do think we need to talk about things like this that make us uncomfortable more. So yeah. What about you? How are you feeling?
I am actually feeling excited, but I feel bad because it's not gloomy outside today. It's so sunny today on my own end.
You should see the sky here. It's so gloomy. I'm like, hey.
I'm not joking. It's like, it is sunny today.
Wow,
so
happy for
I am
you.
Feeling yellow, positive. I'm feeling sunny. And then I'm wearing like a little bit of like yellow.
Yellow. Yeah, you guys
between yellow and orange. So I guess I'm feeling also orange, confident, and I'm optimistic about the conversation.
Yeah. All right. So without further ado, wait. No. First off, guys, you know the drill at this point. Check in with yourselves, check in with how you're feeling, what's going on with you as you're listening to this conversation right now, and just identify how you're feeling before you continue listening. So,
absolutely.
Let's dive in. So, what do the terms healthy competition, envy, and jealousy mean to you personally? And how have you tried to distinguish them in your own experience?
Yeah. Okay, we're diving in.
Yes, we are.
I had like a little bit of a freeze moment. Like, oh, okay, we're doing this.
Yeah, sorry, I should have said let's dive in.
Okay, you said healthy competition, envy,
and jealousy.
Okay, so let me start with, I guess, healthy competition because, to be fair, the word healthy already makes it seem as though it's something that is positive.
Positive, yeah.
And then competition beside, it's supposed to be something that positively brings out like the best in you.
Yeah.
So it might be when you see someone, like we said, succeeding, thriving, and it's not necessarily making you feel negative about them or feel negative about yourself.
Yeah.
It actually makes you feel excited and optimistic and motivated to do more with yourself.
Yeah.
So that's sort of how I see healthy competition.
Okay.
Now, envy on the other end.
Yeah.
I think envy, to be fair, no, I think jealousy is the one that is harsh.
Yes.
I think envy is a little bit of like, it's a little smooth. Maybe like red wine.
Yeah.
Where with envy, you might find yourself feeling uneasy.
Yeah.
But it doesn't necessarily mean that there's any harm that is intended in how you're feeling when you do see people succeed.
Or doing something that you want.
Or doing something that you want, exactly. There might be things that you do admire. Yeah. You feel that little longing or desire for that thing, but it's not harsh. It's very subtle. Jealousy, on the other hand, jealousy is harsh.
It is.
Jealousy is a little bit of like a if you want to put it that way, where it's definitely wanting something someone else has. Yeah. It's definitely even feeling as though you think they don't deserve it. It's definitely feeling as though you are maybe more deserving of it. Or basically being in a position that you're fearful that you're not going to get this thing because somebody else has it. Wow. That's kind of how I would, I guess, break those three of them. How about you?
You did a great job breaking those three. I definitely agree that jealousy is the harshest one because it's kind of like a protective feeling that we experience. Yep. In the sense of it shows up when we're afraid of something. So whether we're afraid of losing something or whether we're afraid that we will never get something, it's that emotion that shows up because it's threatening our level of security in some way, shape, or form. And it's very rooted in fear, right? So you see somebody doing something that maybe you've always wanted to do, but maybe you feel like you don't have the resources to. Yeah. Or you may never have the resources to. Then you start to feel like jealous. I agree with you about envy as well because I feel like envy is just uncomfortable. It's like uncomfortable admitting that, oh, I feel envious of this person. For example, like, I feel envious of people that don't only have green passports because there's times when they're like, oh, like, I want to travel here and there, blah, blah, blah.
That is real.
I want to travel here and there, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm like, dang, I can't do the same without like having to go through visa stresses or...
That is real.
Maybe Nigerians are just banned from traveling to said country. So that is like, for me, that's how I experience envy in terms of like, it's just uncomfortable to admit because at the back of your mind, you're like, I wish I could do that too. Yeah. So it's not necessarily malicious. It's just uncomfortable. And then I think healthy competition, like just what you were describing, can be motivating, just like a way to, rather than becoming jealous or like focusing on what you don't have, using that as motivation to achieve what you can achieve. So, you know, when you see someone doing something like, for example, running a 5K, being like, oh, you know, I could run a 5K too, and like starting to train for that. So instead of like shrinking yourself, pushing yourself to the point of like achieving something that is similar to what you want to achieve, like a similar goal, basically. So that's how I would differentiate the three as well.
Yeah, I think you did a great job. So as you were saying, someone running a 5K. Because I know we were having this conversation before we started.
Yeah.
And I just imagine myself when I see people running. I'm like, you go, girl. Do you. Do you.
That used to be me.
Do you. Now, if I saw someone, let's say, for example, like, I don't know, is it yoga or doing like a yoga pose that's like super hard to do?
Go fit yoga.
I might be like, okay, how can I like move my body? What do I need to do to be able to achieve that? How can I get in my head to be able to make my body do that? So see, to each his own, to be fair. But I'm actually curious about this question that you did ask. How do we distinguish them in our own experiences? And I think that's a really good question.
That's a good question.
For me, I would definitely say I'm at a point where I'm very honest. I think I'm someone who's not... Actually, let me reframe that. I think I am transparent.
That's good.
Yeah, I think I'm a very transparent person in the sense where I've learned that the more I talk openly about things, the less they have like power
over me, period.
And the less I can like have like internalized shame. So that's like my own way of dealing with it. So I am someone who has been very transparent about experiencing envy. So healthy competition, that's a given.
Yeah.
That's a given in the sense where I love healthy competition. I literally have a friend of mine. We motivate each other in a healthy way by competing. And we talk very transparently about it. Like he would even tell me like, I'm so envious of you right now. And I would say, I'm so envious of you right now. And he might be like, oh, in this case, like it kind of stings that you've been able to do this and I've not been able to do it just yet. But I'm super happy for you. I like the transparency around that because it's also helped me check myself in seeing how I show up. And I think for me, one of the things I have definitely seen in how I distinguish it in my own life is that I am someone who thrives off like healthy competition in the sense where I love to study people. I love to study, observe, learn from people, but also I love to learn from people's mistakes.
Yeah. That's a good one. Yeah.
But then at the same time, through this social media journey, Lord, that we have embarked on of just being more public on social media, building a brand on social media, I have definitely seen envy show up more.
More, for sure.
For me, in a way where it wasn't necessarily showing up in my life, which I think is fair to say.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. I definitely think social media triggers a lot of envy. Yeah. Sometimes jealousy. I think it really does. Again, depending on where people are in general, but I feel like, social media makes everything seem so easy and one straightforward path. So it's very, very understandable for anybody to feel or question themselves and then start having these feelings. But I think I feel similarly to you where I can tell based off how I'm feeling or how I'm interacting, not only with myself, but with other people. So if I start to become more critical with myself, a little bit more avoidant with other people, or, I just start realizing that I'm shutting down or I'm feeling like a little bit tight, then I'm like, all right, something's happening here. Like if I'm just watching a video and all of a sudden I'm like, you just have that feeling of, and I'm like, okay, something just happened right now. Like, what was it? So I've come to a place where I'm just like welcoming of every emotion. So rather than feeling ashamed of how I'm feeling, just welcoming them because like we were saying at the start, feelings are feelings. Like we're all going to experience feelings, right? It's just about understanding where they're coming from and channeling them to be more productive. Because if I ignore how I'm feeling, then that's going to continue rolling over into the way I'm experiencing my life, period. So rather than feeling shame or embarrassed about it, be like, yeah, girl, like I'm feeling this way. Like, okay, what's this telling you about yourself? Oh, this is something you want to do. You can do it too. So like, instead of feeling envious or feeling jealous, like you can do it too. But I think something that's also helped me is recognizing that I am my own person. So just because someone is doing something this way, doesn't mean I have to do it that way. Because sometimes it's like people want to repeat the same recipes and rehash the same recipes. And then if it doesn't work out, then they feel like jealous and they feel like annoyed and frustrated. So it's like, I could learn, like what Paula was saying, like I could learn from someone's mistakes or learn from what they're doing, but I'm just going to do it the way I want to do it. Not necessarily to repeat the exact same thing that people are doing. So that's been very, very helpful.
See, I'll just even say this, just even going off on what you just said, Aisha. Anybody who says they haven't experienced and they don't experience envy or jealousy is lying.
They're lying. It's a big lie. As long as you're a human being and you breathe and live.
I wouldn't be afraid of you.
For real. Because what do you mean? Because what do you mean? What do you mean?
Lying.
Yeah, you've experienced it. Everybody has experienced it, period. That's just what it is.
It's not even, I don't even believe it's just everybody has experienced. I think we all experience it in some shape or form.
Yeah.
And it's something that is active because we are human beings and we're breathing, living beings. We experience the world and it is inevitable. So if anyone is sort of going, and I find it very interesting when you can be someone that is transparent about your experience with, let's say, envy or jealousy. And then someone's judging you for being that
doing
type of
that.
person.
Yeah.
But literally might be envious of you that you're transparent.
Exactly. I'm like, it's the exact same thing. It's them being defensive again of, oh, wow, this person is able to be vulnerable. And I'm struggling with being vulnerable. But again, the entire point of this conversation is rather than shame yourself, just welcome them and try to understand why you're feeling that way.
Absolutely. And I do want to ask though, at what point does competition shift from it being healthy to envy or jealousy? And are there subtle signs that indicate we've crossed the line? I think you were touching on some a little bit already.
Yeah, I think... For me, I feel like it starts to shift when it's less focused on like what you were saying, like what can I learn from this, whether it's their mistakes or what they're doing in a way that can be aligned with my own goals. And it starts focusing on like I'm comparing myself to them. So I start asking like, oh, why is that not me? Or why is this happening to that person and not me? You know what I mean? And again, it would look subtle, like you're smiling on the outside, cheering somebody on, but on the inside, you're like, you're having all these thoughts, or the thoughts are like, oh, you're so behind, you would never get there. Or you start focusing or paying too much attention, focusing on someone's success and their path rather than their own. Or I think you said this earlier. Also, like, why did this happen to this person faster when I've been putting in so much work and I'm still not there yet? Yeah. And again, those are natural thoughts to have. It's just about then you're focused less on your own path and more worried about someone else's path to where they're at. And then that's how I know that, okay, I'm now focusing on doubting myself, criticizing myself, all of the things that will not even help me flourish or achieve my goals anyway. If anything, it just gives me a sense of, I guess, an illusion that having all these feelings will, for some reason, attack or not attack, the attack come to my mind, affect someone else's journey. I also think another big sign is how someone starts responding to another person's win. I don't know if you've seen this video on TikTok where this guy was like, he's basically like, oh, you shared the good news with a friend and this is them the entire, I wish people could see my face, but they're like, yeah, congrats. And it's like this big fake smile. Yeah, and obviously we're doing what's like culturally acceptable and socially acceptable. But I feel like if it's hard for you to genuinely celebrate someone's success, then that's indicative that something... That's a big sign that something
very indicative.
Yeah, I think for me, I typically just try to avoid person's content. I'm like, oh, this is triggering something, and then I'll avoid. But now I've been learning like, no, let me watch it because this person's like, there's something to learn from everything. And again, what is it triggering for me rather than what we're avoiding do? Social media is so big and vast. Like you're still going to run into people's content. Or somebody else's that reminds you of it. So running away is not going to solve anything. Yeah. So that's just me. What about you?
Like, to be fair, I do think that there is benefit to both. I think that it's okay sometimes to not expose yourself to something too much the time. And if you do notice that there is something about this that might be stirring up so much in you, and you're not someone who might be capable of like leaning in, it's okay to be like, okay, maybe I need to be around more things that are like filling me versus like taking from me. I think to some degree, not following can be very much so helpful. Yeah. And I also agree as well with their approach of you kind of going, oh no, let me actually see there's a way in which I can learn. Because sometimes that can also cause like a ripple effect where you expose yourself more and then you feel even worse.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's almost like finding like a good balance of what works for you. Because I think for me, I've definitely felt, like I said, I've seen my envious side a lot more since I've been on social media actively. To the point where I was like, oh, I didn't know that I had this much on this side. I thought this was something I had addressed. And this is something that I've really been able to channel more into healthy competition. Yeah. But I think because I am someone who I can actually say, how do I put this? Like, I genuinely like who I am. Like, I genuinely like the person that I am. I genuinely feel good that I am who I am. Yeah. Even though, of course, there's things about myself that I may not like. There might be habits that I have that I don't like, tendencies and things I do that I don't like. But it's not something that's like attached to who I am in the sense where how I see myself. So whenever I see myself in a position where I can tell that I'm like feeling deeply, deeply insecure. Yeah. The idea of like making myself feel better is more of me trying to like almost like justify or excuse or sort of feed into negativity. Yeah. It's very quick for me to be able to spot that, oh, no, you're moving from healthy competition to envy and maybe even jealousy. To jealousy. And I guess because I understand how dangerous jealousy is as well, especially when you've experienced having people who were the closest to you who were truly jealous. In a way where I guess you could say it could have been very much so harmful and it was harmful to you. Yeah. I would definitely say that it is very, very important for you to be able to check yourself because it is easy to move from healthy to envy to jealousy. And sometimes what that can look like is, let's say, for example, instead of admiring someone, you're maybe comparing yourself to them. Yeah. Instead of you actually feeling as though you are happy for someone, you're feeling resentful towards them. And I think another one I mentioned was instead of it being about, I guess, like your own personal growth, it's about validation. So that was what I meant when I said me trying to find excuses or just basically anything to validate the horrible feeling that I'm feeling. Yeah. That's when I can tell for myself that I'm definitely moving into the envy, jealousy side.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. I think what I took away is self-awareness is very key. And self-awareness, meaning acknowledging how you're feeling without criticism and just letting them come. Because again, the more you know yourself, the more you're able to recognize why you're feeling some of these feelings and what they mean for you.
Absolutely.
But I'm curious, since you kind of already started talking about this, do you feel like envy or jealousy can be helpful in terms of pointing towards what we truly want or value rather than something that we should be ashamed of?
Yeah. I don't know why I felt like that was such a deep question. I don't know why.
I mean,
that hits me. I don't know if it's that hits me or the flu shot that I took yesterday that hits me, but one of the two hits me.
Oh, God. Please, I hope you're okay.
No, I am okay, but it felt like the way. No, I think it's a mixture of both. Honestly speaking, I do think that, yes, it can be helpful. Yeah. And I'm going to explain because I completely agree that jealousy and envy, especially jealousy, can really be dangerous. I think until you're someone who's actually been around people who are legit, like in the sense where your downfall makes them happy. It is a scary sort of thing to experience. Seeing someone like, be really happy that you're going through horrible things. Yeah. And unfortunately, I used to experience that like very early on already in like friendships and whatnot. And I think that really helped me in the sense where it made me recognize that this is someone I can never be. And if it means like I have to really do the work to always check myself because this is a scary place to be
in. It's so scary.
Especially when you don't even know like the people around you feel that way towards you.
Right. It's so impressive that you're like, I don't want to be this person because, you know, some people's friendships actually thrive.
For my life. That is why.
Or that too. But I was just thinking about, you know, like sometimes you just meet some people and you're like, their friendship group just thrives on just being jealous and talking negatively about people. So I'm starting to get the point of what you're saying. Like you were being singled out. So that makes sense.
I can give you an example. I had a friend of mine who found out that my boyfriend at that time was cheating on me. And the level of joy I saw in her face to tell me something that obviously I had suspected and I was not sure and eventually had found out, but it scared me to the point where obviously today I sometimes think about it in the sense where, you know, when you think like, am I tripping? Yeah. Like, why does it seem like this person is like so happy
about
to
this?
See that you are in shock and you're in pain. Nah, and of course, there were lots of other things. There were a lot of other things as well that happened. So it's like, just in general, that I've experienced that you see it firsthand. Yeah. And that's what I mean when I say that I think because I grew up very much so either seeing it around me or maybe around like people in your family and whatnot, the experiences of people who were genuinely happy when they were going through very horrible things.
Yeah.
It was something that I felt was important to me to tell God that I don't ever want to associate with this thing.
Yeah.
This is not who I want to be because
oh my God, people are so weird.
I guess the point is the people who are so deep into that are people who hate themselves.
Period.
And I don't want to be someone who hates myself.
No, exactly. Because
so when you really think about it, you're like, okay, I will do the work to make sure that I am not that person.
Yeah.
But honestly speaking, I do think it can be helpful in the sense where it can shed light into things that you need to work on in your own life. It can shed light on your insecurities. It can shed light on areas, wounds that you have. And in all transparency, I'll say one, for example, that comes up for me. I think, let's say, for example, with you, that I would say, and I think I'll probably share this with you, that I feel envious of with you is that when, of course, we talk about social media, we talk about this idea of taking pictures, videos, and whatnot. I think you know.
Yeah,
because
we've talked about it.
You've been in photo shoots with me. I am the most awkward person in front of a camera. Like, take a camera away, I am cool. Put a camera in front of me, I just like, I don't know what to do. I am so shy. I am so like sweaty and anxious. Yeah. And then for you just work the camera. And it's so funny whenever like we have obviously photo shoots and things that we do, it's like night and day when you look at the two of us. So for me, it's something that obviously I'm aware of. Yeah. And it's something that I definitely admire in you. And it's also something that I think is amazing that you have. And it's something I'm aware that I'm still insecure about. Do you get where I'm going with that? Yeah. But I'm aware of it. I see it.
Awareness.
I name it. I communicate it. And I'm not saying you have to tell everybody that you're envious of them. That's not what I'm saying.
Well, it depends on the people. Like, obviously, we're
I'm just
close,
imagining somebody going, I'm envious of you, I'm envious of you, I'm envious of you, I'm envious of you. But obviously, you and I have a relationship. Yeah. And let's be real, like, you can see the difference in our photo shoots whenever things are going on. Even you be like, Paula, what are you doing? But in that case, what it does for me is it sheds light that, okay, maybe I need to learn how to like tap into like my inner sexy on camera. Or maybe I need to tap into like my inner whatever. I don't know what it is, but the inner something in a way where I, as somebody who obviously is naturally confident, it doesn't mean you're confident in all areas. Yeah. So for me, in seeing that and recognizing and putting a name to it, it actually helps me do more of that inner work. And guess what? Like eventually when I do get to a day where I'm like, I'm working the camera.
Our next photo shoot.
I'll be like, I worked hard for this.
Period. Our next photo shoot, you guys will be seeing behind the scenes.
Oh Lord, please don't let me sweat.
There's progress. Progress has been made. Okay. So it's just time. But thanks for being vulnerable and for sharing that because, I mean, these things show up like all the time. I tell you how I feel, this imposter syndrome of being a therapist and talking out loud. But it's always something I've admired from you, just that confidence that you carry in being a therapist. But guess what? Every time you talk about it, you tell me that this is something I knew I wanted. So you put in work to get there. So it's helped me as well channel how I'm feeling to, okay, Paula is doing this. She's articulating herself so well and talking about like all these terms and just even when we have conversations on the podcast, right? But like it's something that you work towards. So me, I was like, okay, I could do the same. And I started challenging myself. Like before I'll be turning things down. Like, I don't want to do that. I don't really want to be in front of the crowd talking because of how I'm feeling internally. But what? What are you about to say?
I'm laughing because I was just going to shout you out because I saw that you had is it mental health? There was a gig, like something that you had where you were speaking.
Yes, World Mental Health Day. And I tell you
World Mental Health Day, and I saw it.
I tried to decline. I tried to decline that thing. Literally, I told everybody, I was like, I don't want to do it. And they're like, why wouldn't you do it? I was like, I don't know. There's no real reason.
When I saw it, I was like, I don't know. I didn't even text you. When I saw it, I was like, okay.
Jeez. Oh, God. It was so scary. I didn't want to do it because it's still something that I'm working on. Just be confident in myself. But I always love when I can see other people do it. At first, I used to be like, oh, how come they're able to do this and I can't? But now I'm like, well, if that person can do it, like, so can you. So back to the question of when we have these feelings, it's revealing something that maybe we're longing for. So like I'm longing to be able to feel confident in expressing myself, whatever that looks like. And just have courage. Or like sometimes I see, even on social media, like people post anything and I'm like, oh my God. Yikes, like I would never do that. And I'm like, why are you saying that? Don't say you would never do it because you're saying that as a way to protect yourself. If you could do it, you probably would. And so now my approach to social media is I post anything because I beg, everybody has perception. So
and you also
some people
know
will not
that,
like it.
Even what you just said now, like I will never do that.
Yeah.
Let's even say that's something that for you is not like representative of who you are.
Who you are, yeah.
It is very okay for you to recognize someone doing something that you would not do without it being seen or like painted negatively.
As a bad thing,
and recognizing that like what you would do is what you would do because it is tailored to who you are, which even makes it better for you.
Oh my God, Nigerians do this thing on Twitter where they're like, I'm like, it's okay. Everyone is different. They'll just be projected and projected.
What do they do?
They're like so negative. Like they see somebody do something and they're like, this person did this thing. Why would you do it? So stupid, so bad. And I'm like, bro, if you would not do it, that doesn't mean like, even something as small as, I don't know why you're cracking up, something as small as like Temi or Tedola got married and changed her last name and everybody was like, billionaire's daughter changed her. What's your own? Like, mind you, she's allowed to have her own values and do whatever the hell she wants to. Like, how is it affecting you? That's also something that's been very helpful.
I have a question as I'm listening to you based off of that because you're absolutely right. I think that is a negative trait that I think us Nigerians, so it doesn't sound like I'm pointing at people.
No, we do. Especially Nigerians on Twitter
can have because we grew up in a society that is very judgmental, very... what's the word? Like imposing. They love to impose on you so much.
And very like we're right and you're wrong.
Do you think envy and jealousy is such a common thing and like it breathes so much in people because we actually are raised in society that almost like conditions also imposes on us to always like show up in a way that's more acceptable. So even when we want to embrace differences, like it makes it harder for us to embrace differences, to embrace uniqueness without having to compare ourselves. Because say, for example, I might not be someone who can work a camera, but I can be somebody who can sing her ass off on camera. Just
period. Exactly.
But then that's a difference, right? But let's say, for example, if someone says the expectation is if you're going to be on social media, you have to work a camera. That's already putting you in a box. That makes it easy for you to compare yourself to something that you're not even. So I'm wondering, like, do you think to some degree, like there's like a societal aspect, like impact? Do you know the question I'm asking?
Yes.
Like, do you think that plays a role?
I think it does. Cause I'm just going to speak from the Nigerian culture because I definitely feel like it's just so bad. Like every time I go on, especially that app, X, Twitter, whatever we want to call it, it's just it's never anything positive. The only time that I feel like we come together is when a downfall is happening. A perceived downfall. And it's like, why? And it's just, to me, it's just like, what you're saying. I feel like we're conditioned to conceptualize certain things as right and wrong. And if somebody is doing something opposite what we perceive as right or opposite of something that we perceive as wrong, then it almost feels like we need to shame this person. We need to impose negativity on this person. But like when you really observe it and reflect on it, you see that a lot of these things is just embedded jealousy and envy. It's just people are just jealous that they're not, or envious of the fact that they're not able to live their lives authentically to the point where somebody is not only doing that, they are showing it to the world in a way that they feel like they're boxed, right?
Absolutely.
So, I feel like society does play a huge role. And I think the Nigerian society there's just so much black and white thinking. So if you don't fit in that, this or that, and you're somewhere in the middle, or you just dare to be different, it's almost like, who is this one? Who does she think she is?
Absolutely.
And then when you reflect on it, you're like, bro, this is all just part of something that you're feeling that's triggering an insecurity. What do you think?
No, absolutely. I think you hit the nail on the head. Like, there's definitely some social conditioning that is there that has made it very easy for us to just show up in this way, or to have that be, I guess, a lot more common for a lot of people. I'll just give a quick example. I was talking with a friend of mine. I had to sleep over at a friend's house, and we were talking about mutual friends of ours who are married, and some who are like have kids or about to have kids or trying to have kids. Yeah. And we had this moment where we looked at each other. We're like just going like, wow, this is amazing. Because we all went to the same school. Like, we all went to the same grad school. So it was just like, wow, like just seeing how everyone's life is like turning out and blah, blah, and whatnot. And then like I had a moment where I looked at her and I was like, what are we doing with our lives? What? No. And we just looked at each other. We looked at each other like, what are we doing with our lives? We're eating popcorn. We're watching TV and playing with your dog. Is this what we're doing with our lives? And then like we had this moment where we looked at each other and then we just burst out laughing.
Yeah.
And we're like, and I said, I will not change it for a damn thing.
No, period. Exactly.
But my point being, and even with that, because at my core, I know that I am exactly where I'm supposed to be in my life. This is what I want my life to look like and feel like in this season of my age, developmental growth and whatnot. At the same time, I can still find myself going like, like that, that like little feeling of, wait a minute, if these people are this and like they're sensible, like, is there something wrong with me? Like, I should not be doing this. Like that comparison thing when we don't even recognize that this is something that we don't even want. Or this is something that we don't even like, or something that we don't even desire. But this false sense of society telling you like, this is what you should desire. So if you're desiring anything different from that, then absolutely you should be aiming to get what this person has, which is just so silly.
So silly, so unrealistic, so crazy.
Twitter, by the way, and I will say this with my chest, Devil's Playground is what I call that place.
God. There was I think in the past 2-3 weeks, I opened the app, something negative, I closed it. Go back, open, close. I was just like, yeah, this is a lot. And guess what the common denominator, where the origin was from? Guess where?
Where?
Nigeria. Oh, it's Nigeria. Yeah. It's not. It's so crazy to do. No, it's actually so bad. It's so bad. And I'm like, bro, do you guys understand that not everything has to fit in one box?
Yeah.
No, they don't. They really don't.
Yeah.
And then they shame you for it. They make you feel bad. They make you feel like you're the problem. And it's like, bro, this is insane. This cannot be, this should not be what's culturally accepted. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah.
And obviously, I guess as we're having this conversation, it's nice to talk about envy and jealousy and share like how we all experience it, and you and I experience it, and everybody else experiences it. Yeah. But I think it's also helpful to talk about like how to navigate it as well.
Yeah.
Like how to manage, or how to be able to, like what I said, like name it.
Yeah.
Identify what's going on, put a name to it, and then obviously deal with it or navigate managing it. So what would you say, like how does healthy competition show up differently in friendships, workplaces, relationships? And what keeps it balanced in the sense where like it stays healthy competition, more healthy competition, and less envy, less jealousy?
Right. Wow. Very deep question. This is something that I feel like everybody has to navigate. Like regardless of the space or environment, you kind of have to navigate because those feelings will show up whether we like it or not. But I think to answer the last part first, what keeps it balanced, I think, is intention. You have to be very intentional because it's so easy to let your emotions lead. And like we always say, emotions are valid, but they're not always accurate. And so if you're leading with inaccurate emotions, then you're probably going to end up engaging in unhealthy behaviors or behaviors that are protecting you, but probably more self-sabotaging. So I think leading with intention, or focusing on that intention and focusing on your growth rather than trying to prove something or trying to like compare yourself to said person.
Yes.
I think throughout the conversation, we've been talking about like everybody has their own journey. Everybody's their own person. Everyone is different. So rather than focusing on someone else's life that you can't control, focusing on your own and how you want to grow. And I think in friendships, it could look like celebrating each other's wins, holding each other accountable, telling each other that you're proud of each other, no matter how small that progress or those achievements are. I really think we need to do better at like celebrating small wins.
Absolutely.
Because when we only focus on the big wins, and it starts looking, I think that's when it starts looking like, oh, this person's winning more than me. But it's like, we're probably all winning, but we're not acknowledging them. So like acknowledging small wins and letting each other shine in areas of interest or areas of strengths. For example, Paula does an amazing job writing. So she writes for the Psychology Daily.
Psychotherapy.net.
Psychotherapy.net, right. And it's so amazing because I don't think I'm great at writing. So that's something that every time I see, I'm like, great. I repost it. I like it because I'm like, wow, that's amazing that she's doing that, right? Like, so highlighting that me feeling envious or jealous of that is not going to change the fact that I don't enjoy writing 100%, right? So if it's something that my friend likes doing, like highlighting those areas of strength and celebrating them. And when we're on sets, Paula be hyping me up because, again, it just feels natural. I just be in camera acting like I'm a celebrity.
Like I always say,
You're
my body. Exactly.
Period. So, again, highlighting your areas of strengths and celebrating each other and still pushing each other to grow. Like, if I feel like you have potential to grow in some area, like, I be gassing Paula up on set. Like, no, you can do it. Like, pose this way and, like, smile. It's okay. Like, gassing each other up.
To be honest.
And stuff like that. So I think in the workplace, it can be harder because it almost feels like performance and success are measured publicly. And sometimes I don't feel like a lot of bosses are doing this intentionally. And sometimes they are, to be fair. I feel like sometimes they can like compare in a way that's like, all right, I need to, step up my game. But stepping up my game in a way that people start feeling like I want to push the other person down. Yeah. So no, I think at the workplace, balance can come from remembering that your coworkers, for the most part now, it depends on where you're working, because there's definitely some workspaces where there's a toxic way of functioning where we're bringing each other down to feel better about each other. I'm not talking about that. I'm thinking like, if this is a hypothetical, healthy space with your coworkers, I think it's more working on collaborating with people and having an open mindset. Like at my job, I think what has been really helpful to see is like, if somebody does something in an area of strength that they have, rather than feeling like envious or jealous of it, I'm like, oh, you know what? Like, if they could do it, then I could do it. Like, or somebody would do something and you have like an initial reaction of, well, why didn't I think of that? Which is natural, right?
Absolutely.
Rather than fixating on why didn't I think of that, focusing more on, well, if they could think of that, like, how can I contribute to that for this thing to grow? So I'm still part of it without bringing myself down or feeling like I need to negate what this person has done to make myself feel better. Like what Paula was saying about validating how I'm feeling, right? So seeing your colleagues more as allies instead of rivals, I think can be very helpful. And I would never go into the workspace because I know there's people that go to work and feel like they're better than other people. I would never go into work feeling like I'm better than anyone. I feel like there's room to learn regardless of age, years of experience, all of that good stuff. And I think that's been very helpful for me. That has personally been very helpful because it actually minimizes me going into meetings or having conversations with people and listening to things that actually make me insecure rather than things that could help me grow, because I'm like, oh, okay, like, oh, they're able to like identify areas that we could work on or work with or collaborate on. Like, that's great. So thinking more about it from a growth mindset and not like a know-it-all can be very helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said. I think like you hit the nail on each one, from friendships to workplaces and then intertwining relationships as well. So I'm not even going to like add anything to that. I think
I want you to talk about romantic relationships because I did it. Because that's a big one.
No.
That's a big one.
See, I can't even lie to you. When it comes to romantic relationships, I think like one of the most dangerous things is being in a relationship with someone who's your ops.
No, for real.
Like with someone who is genuinely jealous of you and envious of you. Let me even say jealousy. Opposition when I say ops. Like that is a big no-no.
That could literally change the trajectory of your life, for real.
I don't even think it can. I think it definitely
will. Right.
in some shape or form.
Yeah.
So I understand that need. But fair enough, I have dated people who I admire things about them.
Yeah.
But it was less of jealousy and more of, wow, this is actually something I respect about you and something that sets you apart from me, because I also want someone who is set apart from me to some degree. So if you're someone who sort of shows up in this way and I show up in this way, I benefit from being around you because you show up in this way.
Right.
You benefit from being around me because I show up in that way. Yeah. And then I can learn here and there. Yeah. I don't have to be like you. Yeah. I can admire and I can also celebrate like the parts of myself. Yeah. I think the only thing I would say is that, honestly, I feel like I have one of the coolest like group of friends. Period. It's funny because you all know each other, but you all are my friends. Like, you know me because you're my friend. And I like it like that. I like it like that in the sense where I have each friend who, let's say, for example, if everyone is coming together, they're coming together because of me, something me related.
Like your birthday that year.
Exactly. But I feel as though in my life today, honestly, I cannot thank God enough for the friendships that I have today. And it feels so good to be able to say that I have friendships with like strong-minded people. Exactly. People who are well-rounded, people who are accomplished in their own way, people who I admire things in many different ways, different things that they do. Because I do think that your friendships actually reflect a lot about you. So when I see my friends like thriving and winning, I'm like, oh my God, I'm bad.
As they should.
That's how it registers in my head. Yeah. Like, oh my God, I did something great with my life. I'm doing something great with my life.
Right.
So I feel like that perspective too as well can be helpful in the sense where you start looking at it as like community.
Right.
Versus looking at it as like me versus you.
We're growing together.
And obviously for workplaces, honestly, I think the only thing I can think to that is I've always been someone who likes to learn from people. Like I say, I study people. So it doesn't come across, I think in workplace, I've never even felt competition or never even felt any sort of like envy or jealousy. Because one, the workplace environment is... But also because for me, it's just a thing of like, let me draw from this person, 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 and then add to me. So I'm bettering me and myself, developing myself, so to speak. But as we're obviously rounding up this conversation, for people who might be caught in that loop of comparison, what first step would you suggest for them to shift that perspective and reclaim their own path?
The deep question. But you know what they always say? Comparison is the thief of joy.
True.
Yep.
Facts.
And that's something that I always hold on to. If I feel like I start comparing myself, I'm just going to start by naming what that's doing for me. What is this taking away from me? It's taking away my joy. It's making me feel bad about myself. It's taking away my peace. It's making me anxious. And then telling myself, well, that's not productive. Like, that's not doing anything for me right now. So what's the point? And then I'm like, you know what, girl, you're right. And then I channel into something else. One thing that has helped me, again, I think I said it earlier, is acknowledging my progress, no matter how small it is. Because regardless of what you're doing, you're making progress. Even if you don't see like the assumed outcome or the goal that you want it to look like at that moment, you are making progress. And celebrating those mini wins or mini progresses that you're making, because at the end of the day, you are putting in work, you're putting in effort. And just because someone got it faster, got that goal that maybe you want as well faster than you, doesn't mean that you aren't going to get the same outcome, right? You might even get it better, but by the point you start like comparing yourself, you kind of shift gear from focusing on your goal and you're not focusing on that other person. So I think
absolutely
focusing on my own lane, having an open mind, I think can be very helpful, and not fixating on an attached outcome. And just, again, what we've been saying throughout this conversation is being self-aware, right? Knowing yourself, knowing when something's working for you, when something's not working for you, knowing when you're doing something for validation of other people versus actually doing it because you want to actually do it. And I'll say nobody's timeline is late. Oh, and to add to that, something somebody told me, because I thought about it before we had this conversation, because I was like, somebody told me this a while ago. Comparing yourself to someone's life means that, I don't even know who told me this, but it's something that has stuck anyway. comparing yourself to someone's life means that you're comparing every single thing about that person's life. So you can't just focus on the things you see them post on social media. It means if they have a tragedy in their life, that would mean that you want that too, right?
Oh, yeah.
So that has been very helpful for me. Like, well, just because they're posting this, it's great that it's positive, but I don't know what they're fighting internally. I don't know. I don't know the battles people are fighting. So for me too, I can't just focus on that one thing because that's cheating. That's not being realistic. That's me trying to validate something about myself, right?
Yeah.
So rather than validating that part, being realistic and telling myself, well, people are going through things and great that they're able to put this outlook out, whether it's genuine or not genuine, good, but that's their journey. I'm focusing on my journey, my timeline, because guess what? That's all I can control, and that's all you can control. What about you?
Thank you, Aisha. Aisha just dropped. She just mic dropped. Let me be careful. She just mic dropped right now. And I think like you ended it on the right notes of that because it's so true. Like if you're if you're comparing yourself to someone's wins, better be saying that you also want their failures and their losses as well and their struggles. Because, and I've had many times when some people might say things about me like, oh my God, and I'll tell them, girl, you know what I mean? You know what, if you only knew. Oh, if you knew. You don't even want to know. I would like to end this conversation with like playing two things I saw this week ahead of this conversation as well. I feel like he hits the nail on the head to just answer this question. So the first one is Jay Shetty, something that he said on Mel Robbins' podcast. And then the second one is, I believe, this actor called Andre Day Shield, something that he said.
Okay.
To end this conversation, I'm going to basically, I guess, like recite something that Jay Shetty said on Mel Robbins' podcast.
Okay.
So he starts by saying, weak people notice other people's mistakes and laugh. Strong people notice other people's mistakes and learn. Weak people, they talk about other people's problems to feel better. Strong people talk about other people's problems to become better. Weak people gossip about others to build fake connections. Strong people express vulnerability to build real ones. And this is the kicker.
Period.
Weak people envy people ahead of them. Strong people study people ahead of them.
Wow.
That's the first one.
Wow.
The second one. Now, this is by Andre. He said, there is no one like you. There has never been anyone like you. There shall never be anyone like you.
Period.
Therefore, know yourself. Be yourself. Authenticity is everything. That's it.
Wow. This is the perfect way to end. No notes. 10 out of 10, period. Send both of them to me because I need to print it out and put it on my forehead.
Shout out to Jay Shetty and Andre Day Shield.
Yeah, shout out for the knowledge, for the wisdom, for just spitting real facts. I love it.
All right. This was a great conversation.
Yeah. Wait, I'm actually I feel like what you just said, I'm still trying to process. So I'm in like shock mode.
I will send it to you, don't worry.
Yeah, send it to me. But where can our viewers find us, listeners find us?
Okay, so you can email us at info@dwhyapodcast.com, Instagram at dwhyapodcast, X at dwhyapodcast, TikTok at dwhyapodcast1. You can find me at paula.b.martins on Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn. I'm pretty much everywhere.
Okay.
Where can our listeners find you?
They can find me at ab.popoola on Instagram and on TikTok. And thank you guys for listening. We hope you had as much fun as we did.
Yes. And until next time.
Bye.
Bye.